Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Little Reader's house. I'm the Little Reader, and you are in my house. Get cozy, get comfy, pull up a chair or two. One for, maybe four, one for every limb if that's what you're working with. Whatever your heart desires. Today we've got this beautiful kunzite crystal accompanying us. La. And we have our message piped in and ready to go from Spirit, piping hot, as it were. And it's interesting because I'm already noticing some synchronicities with this message and this crystal and some of the readings I've been seeing lately, both in cards and energetically. So, today, Spirit would like to chat with us about decisions. Decisions, and how to make them. And who's making them? So we've transmitted a little bit about this before in previous sessions. When we make a decision, who is making that decision? Is it the personality? Amanda, hello. The aesthetic, the persona, the skills, the mental desires, which Spirit asks me to differentiate from the desires of the heart. Is that the individual that's making the decision when I make a decision? Or is it the unconscious? Is it not the personality, the persona, the aesthetic, the skills, but instead some other force that leads me to decide things unconsciously most of the time, and then all of those unconscious decisions peak at pivotal points of my day, my week, my month, my year, and I make an even greater unconscious decision from my subconscious or unconscious mind, but specifically subconscious in this context. Or are we making a decision from the heart? And if so, what's in there that's helping us to decide or that's choosing? It's easy to understand how our form chooses. It chooses in favor of patterns. It chooses in favor of safety. It chooses in favor of survival. It chooses in favor of comfort. And when the form chooses in favor of discomfort, it's usually because there is an anticipated reward on the other side. So the form usually won't be making any decisions that are particularly character building or particularly risky or particularly expansive. The form will typically be choosing in terms of its own safety because it wants to preserve itself. Of course it does. Look at it. Of course it wants to preserve itself. Makes perfect sense. The unconscious/subconscious, but I'm going to stick with the term subconscious because per Joseph Murphy and a lot of the data and pop culture references to the subconscious mind, I mean the part of us that motivates a lot of our decision making from a unseen vantage point. Slightly different than the unconscious in its definition. The unconscious is more like an aspect of us, also from a dark vantage point, also something that we don't see. but it's not as programmable. It's not as close to the surface as the subconscious. That's the differentiation that we're going to make for the purpose of today's understanding. So let's put the unconscious aside on a shelf. We've looked at how the form makes decisions. Now, how does the subconscious make decisions? Like the form, patterning is important. For the subconscious, it's looking at the average of all of the thoughts that we take in and that we engage with. So we know that the mental realm is a vast collective place where everyone's thoughts are residing and floating around like a massive technological cloud at all times. And we know that we have a link, that our hardware has a software link to that cloud, and that is how we access thoughts. Some of our thoughts we can feel ourselves creating. We construct them out of other thoughts and make something. But many of our thoughts are passing through our awareness, and we watch them go by or even jump on the train and follow them to their logical end or illogical end in many cases by placing our awareness into the mental realm, forcing it through that portal, and then going along for the ride on whatever thought trains pass us by. And we know that thoughts that we witness can come from the collective, kind of like scrolling through an Instagram feed, but it's up here. Thoughts that we witness can come from us, as we mentioned before, we construct them. Or thoughts can come from our environment. So it can come from the actual objects in our space that emit frequency, like this, or like this. It can come from the people in our space that are emitting a certain frequency. I remember there was a time when I was living next to somebody on the other side of a wall, and I noticed every time that they went to sleep, I was picking up on their thoughts. I could hear their worries in my own head. My portal to the mental realm was open, and I was watching their thoughts go by on the other side. And before I came to that realization, those thoughts had begun to but sneak into my awareness. And because I wasn't consciously exploring them, I was taking them on as my own. So I began to formulate certain worries and concerns that were not typical or not of my form, not of my patterning. I was like, where is this coming from? And then on a mindful evening, I made the discovery, my head is on this side of the wall. Here's the wall, and here's the other person sleeping. And I'm picking up on their thoughts. And after a conversation, confirmation was made. So our thoughts can indeed come from the people that we share space with directly, simply by holding space with them. From the objects in our space, from our environment, from the type of mood and energy that the music that plays in our space creates, that the words that are exchanged in our space creates, that the overall energetic offering of the people or the crowds in which we find ourselves creates. And we take all that in, and that makes thoughts. So our subconscious can be acting on those thoughts, particularly the thoughts that we have an emotional attachment to or that we have identified with, the thoughts that we believe in. We've explored this in some of our transmissions as well. The subconscious mind is going to take the thoughts that we identify with through our belief. We've put them in the yes cabinet of what we are open to being true. We're open to that affecting our reality. Not the things we've put in the no cabinet. Although sometimes we put things in the no cabinet with such an emotional charge of resistance that the subconscious mind is like, oh, I can act on that too. Because there's an emotional charge behind both the yeses and the nos. And if we have two beliefs that are in opposition, we can get some amazing conflict fireworks where we find ourselves at an impasse. So that's the subconscious mind for us. The subconscious mind is taking patterning, it's taking thoughts that we identify with, thoughts that we believe in, whether those thoughts are helpful or unhelpful. If we spend a lot of time with those thoughts, the subconscious is like, okay, yes, believes that they could never. They could never. So our decisions will now be influenced by that subconscious belief when we're allowing the subconscious to take the reins. So we're either handing off our awareness to our form to make decisions for us, to our subconscious to make decisions for us based on our patterning, or to the heart. Now, what's going on in the heart? What's that like? Just like the mental realm, the heart realm is a location in our body, a portal, and it connects to something. The heart connects to the divine light of source, animation. It gives us life. When the heart is broken or the heart ceases to beat, and I'm referring to the physical organ of the heart. Well, I'm also referring to the conceptual, emotional body of the heart when I say when the heart is broken. But when the heart is ceasing to beat as an organ, life ceases to exist in the body. That's not true of the brain, which we think of as the hardware for the mind, although Spirit would like to frame the mind as an all-encompassing experience versus just taking place in the hardware of the brain. But we link brain with mind quite a bit. When the brain hardware is not functioning, the body can carry on, at least for a time. So they're both important portals, vastly important. And the mind has served to keep us not just afloat, but creating, investigating, analyzing. The mind has been an essential part of our evolution for thousands of years. And the mind, which is typically driven or works in tandem with the form for decision making, it verbalizes the form's wants and needs, has created the reality we see before us today. This is all a product, or not all, but largely a product of the mind. This realm of heart is collected and connected to a portal of the collective, just as the mind is. But instead of sensing thoughts, instead of sensing half forms, concepts, ideas, images, the way the mind does, the heart realm is sensing source in all, raw potential source. It's like the image that I'm being shown is like a field of fireflies lighting up the night sky. Interestingly, for the heart, the image I'm seeing reminds me of neural pathways in the brain or lightning bolts, electricity. Because the heart doesn't judge the form that source is taking. It simply sees source, electricity, light. Whereas the mind judges the form. The mind is interpreting binary code and abstract energy that we wouldn't be able to understand if it didn't have a form on it. So the mind interprets the data it receives, it interprets that source, but it puts a label on it. So it shows you an image or it gives words to it and it creates a thought that we can understand in terms of language. We can hear it or see it. The mind can also take feelings and apply them to thoughts so that we can understand what is passing through that mental realm in front of us. But the heart makes no such distinction. The heart doesn't put the label, the heart doesn't put the face, the heart doesn't put the image, the words. The heart is a non-judgmental space of pure potentiality. So while the mind is limiting itself, it's closing the door on infinite, and it's categorizing, labeling, and defining. It's analytical, that's its nature. Thank you, mind. We love you for that. That puts it into a finite category, finite possibilities. Now you can say, little reader, thoughts are infinite. I could sit here and think all day. You most certainly can. Absolutely. And your awareness is infinite. So if you bring your infinite awareness to anything, you can appreciate its infinite nature. You can sit and think and watch infinite thoughts go by, absolutely. But the quality of each thought is finite. The quality of each thought has form. It has half a form. It doesn't have a full form. You don't have things falling out of your ears, coins and elephants and poop. Nothing's coming to form all by itself in the realm of mind. It's all half form. So you can appreciate all day long infinitely the process, bring your infinite awareness to it. But the thoughts themselves that are passing by are finite. You are looking at a form, a half form. In the heart center, there is no such judgment, no such analysis, no such labeling, no such categorizing, no such limiting. So the heart is the portal to infinity intrinsically, naturally. You can bring infinite awareness to the mind, as we just said, but it's your awareness that gives it the quality of infinity. If you bring your awareness to the heart, it's a little bit different. It's infinity, which is your awareness, meeting infinity, which is the heart space portal, anahata, this chakra. And when infinity and infinity collide, you have your hair. You have quantum outcomes. You have miracles. And I was going to say, for lack of a better word, but Spirit said there is no better word, so thank you. You have miracles. So what is it like to make a decision from the heart space? You're faced with a fork in the road. You're faced with the opportunity to pivot. Will you pivot with the mind? Will you take your form's best interest into account? This would actually be decision making from the place of the form, because the mind cannot make decisions. It can only offer half forms. The mind is not a personality. The mind is like a streaming service or like a feed. So it can offer you options. But if you're using the mind to make your decision, you're doing it on behalf of the form. What will benefit my form? What will get me food, shelter, water, community? Beyond that, what will get me recognition, value, celebration, applause? Beyond that, what will get me self-realization, heightened material success? And even when we think we're doing an altruistic act, the trap of altruism, even when we think we're being altruistic, it's still for me. So how can I serve? How can I do something for someone other than me, we would say, if we're using the mind to make this decision, and we're asking this question of the mind. The form recognizes that service will make the form feel good. So when we use the mind based off of the form, we can't get away from me-centric thinking, which, for the record, Spirit sees no issue with. Spirit's like, yes, think, use the mental realm. We are not trying to throw it away. We are trying to honor it as the tool that it is, not deify it. Honor it as the tool that it is, and understand that it is not the only player in the game. In fact, it's a player in the game. But Spirit's trying to show us the game. And that would be the heart. If we're making decisions from the subconscious place, as we spoke about before, it's not even really thought through. We never consciously get to the realm of mind to look at our options and then narrow down our options. We just out of pattern. Yes, we just regurgitate out of patterned thinking. So our subconscious mind is going to be often what makes our micro decisions. So the meals we're eating, the thoughts we choose to ride on our train, we hop on, we take that train, I hate myself, all the way to the end of the line, or whatever trains we're choosing to ride. God is so good. It could be, and anything in between. The subconscious then steps in when it's time for a bigger decision, maybe. Where should I go for vacation? And then we'll pick, if we pick out of patterning, or we just kind of put a finger to it, even with a lot of divination techniques, what we're tapping into is the subconscious. So those are our two big categories. If we're choosing from the realm of the heart, we're no longer playing a game, as mentioned before. We're not a player in the game. We are the game. We're taking infinite awareness, which we have 100% of at all times. Where do you think that's stored, beautiful soul? Typically, in the realm of mind. When it's not in the realm of mind, it's in the form. What am I feeling in my body? Is it pleasure? Is it pain? How do we get away from the pain and get to the pleasure, unless the pain's going to lead to some pleasure? When we're choosing with the realm of the heart, we take all of that awareness, or as much as we can muster, through practices like breathwork, meditation, stillness, loving kindness, and unconditional presence. So our practices make it possible to do this. We take that awareness and we place it in the heart center. We do this until the form relaxes. Until the mind relaxes and our portal to mind, which is typically blasted open and letting everything from mind leak in, and our awareness leak into that realm, that portal slowly, gently begins to close, and there's a palpable distance between that realm and us, like a busy city, but it's down below and we're in the penthouse. So we know it's there and it's churning, and maybe we can hear some honks and clattering of hooves on the cobblestone streets. What is this, 1830? Or spaceships going by. What is this, 4020? And once the form has relaxed and the connection to mind has developed space between it, we witness with all of our awareness in the heart. And we witness. That's our task. That's our item. That's our hot to do. It's to be. And we make it known to ourselves that we are open to receiving guidance on this decision. And then we witness this space. We don't anticipate. We don't let the mental realm reach its beautiful, long fingernailed hand back in and pull our awareness back into it. I'm gonna have to stop you there. Let's just leave that right here. We just keep our awareness right here. And we witness. That's how we make a decision with the realm of heart. Now, where are the fireworks, little reader? Where's the thunderbolt of inspiration? The thunderbolt of inspiration. First of all, Spirit loves all talk of thunderbolts. I can see why. I think that was like Zeus's thing. Or was it Thor's? Somebody was playing with thunderbolts and lightning. Witnessing of the heart center works differently than we're accustomed to, because when we're working with the realm of mind or even the subconscious, we're very results oriented and very driven toward having a linear understanding of what is going to happen from where I am now to where I want to be. And when we do this, either using our mind/form or our subconscious, however we're trying to have an intellectual understanding, we turn time into a relevant structure. This is very valuable for getting to know the fourth dimension and very valuable for our evolution. Again, Spirit is not dissing the realm of mind. If you choose to make your decisions intellectually or even subconsciously for the rest of your days, Spirit's like, my child, do it. It's just not the only option that's available anymore. That's what this transmission is here to introduce. When we create the mental framework that there is a point A and there is a point Z, let's just say, beginning and end, we've now committed energetically to the fact that we are going to experience a process. And we've committed to that mentally. So our experience will then respond to reflect this linear process. Okay, now I need to know every step. Now I'm in charge of understanding and making this all happen. Now, in order to get to my Z from my A, I've got to make probably multiple decisions or that one big one, and I need to understand the ripple and how it's going to affect my life. There's just a lot of intellectualization that's taking place. Oftentimes, the reason we'll let ourselves choose things subconsciously is because we don't want to look at all of that data. It's overwhelming. We don't want to think about it. So we're still using the realm of half forms and our own patterning to make the decision, but at least we can avert our eyes and be like, I'm not going to look. I'm choosing Hawaii as my vacation destination because that's where I always go. And so I don't have to look at all this data. I already know pretty much how it's going to go. But when we are using the realm of heart, we are bringing infinity, which is our awareness, to infinity. And that means there is no A and there is no Z and there is no timeline. Everything kind of becomes collapsed. And this is why the fifth chakra, Anahata, is the portal to the fifth dimension, where manifestations in form happen instantaneously. More on that another time. Suffice it to say, when you bring your awareness to the heart chakra, it is without anticipation, expectation, or agenda. You are open to receiving a direction for your decision, but we're not demanding it now. We're not sitting there until we get it. although you could, but it's not necessary. We don't have to make our form suffer or our mind suffer in this process. Instead, what we're doing is acknowledging that in this realm, there is no time. There is no perception of linear time, and as such, there is no subservience to the sequence of events that unfold as a result of using the mind to decision make. So a lot less energy expended, which is nice. Again, it's a higher technology. You don't have to commit to it. You don't even have to try it. But Spirit wants you, beautiful soul, to know that using the heart center is a higher, more finessed technology that delivers quote unquote faster, even though we're not talking about time. So let me rephrase, instantaneous results. Yes. So when you visit this space, let's say you have decided you're going to make a decision with the realm of heart. You're going to ask for an answer or be open to receive one from the realm of heart. You set a timer for 15 minutes. You sit down on the floor like I have here today, beautiful soul, to be with your gloriousness. And you bring all of your awareness from everywhere you can. You grab it out of the form. Stop thinking about your left kneecap. You grab it out of the mind. Stop thinking about whatever you like. You take it from all those places and you bring it to this heart center. And again, this is why a daily practice is so valuable, because it does require practice to take control back of your awareness, as we typically surrender that control to whatever is stimulating. So pain and pleasure in the form and entertainment in the mind. And even the darkest thoughts are seen as entertainment in the mind because they hold that awareness there. That's how the mind determines what's entertaining or not. And believe you me, beautiful soul, the mind will select the most attractive thoughts because the realm of mind is a living place and it likes to hold your awareness. That's how it grows and expands and evolves on its own. Everything evolves with awareness. So it's not that there's a battle going on, but it's important to understand, since we're talking rules and regulations here, that the realm of mind is always competing to have your awareness. The realm of heart does not compete for your awareness. It does not grab, it does not yank it, and it does not produce entertainment to seduce you into it. Instead, the realm of mind sits and says, yo, I'm a portal to infinite source whenever you're ready to check me out, but I don't need anything from you. I just sit here and knock on the door to let you know, anytime you want to come in, you can. I'm just reminding you that I'm here. And typically what drives us to this place, to the realm of heart, over the course of our lives is dissatisfaction. Even when we fulfill our mental goals, even when we fulfill our mental ambitions, even when we have all the comforts of our form that we could possibly want, all the hotties, all the booze, all the drugs, and let's throw a yacht in there, because why not? That's when people start turning to the realm of the mind, away from the realm of the mind to the realm of the heart, because there's a noticing that something's not satisfying here. So when you sit down for your 15 minutes, you set that timer and you release all expectations and demands and you place your awareness fully in the heart center. What you do is open up the possibility for a miracle. Irrespective of what you're deciding upon, even if it's the smallest decision like, should I buy Lysol or bleach to clean my toilet? Not sponsored, by the way, but hey, hit me up, cleaning products. If you, in a decision, let's say you did devote 15 minutes to making that decision, and you sit down and you put your heart, all your awareness in your heart center, and you let it happen. What happens during the session will vary. I'm not here to make any promises. Spirit is. That's actually kind of something Spirit loves to do because it knows its own rules and laws. I can't tell you, beautiful soul, what's going to happen to you specifically. how the answer will come. Because unlike the realm of mind where you can say a thought will arise, that's not how it works in the realm of infinity, in the heart. A thought may arise, and it may be a special kind of thought that's charged with a heart-based energy. It can be a full body knowing, where your body's suddenly covered in chills and you get up from the session and you just move. You just know where you're going. You're going for the Lysol. Or whatever you're making a decision about. It could be that you get absolutely zip the entire time. You're just trying to pull your awareness to that heart center because the mind keeps trying to pull it back. It's a tug of war. Irrespective, when you sit with the intention of receiving, you will receive, and you will receive instantaneously. And if you allow yourself to be open to any possibility for that message to come in, that's the key. When you get up from that session, it may be a text on your phone. You may find out the decision's already been made and made in your favor. And I'm not saying this is a magic hack for making life unfold in your favor, but at the same time, Spirit is saying, in a way it is. Because when you align with your heart, you realize that all of the decisions in your life have already been made for you. In the realm of, oh dear, this is a tricky one, but it's true. I mean, this is what Spirit wants to say. In the realm of heart, there is no time. Time's collapsed, so all the decisions are already made. All you're doing is finding out what your higher self or highest self decided already, and then aligning yourself with that. And how the answer comes, whether it's a text from your ma or the thought, it rises like a bubble into your thought form, and you're like, oh, that's the answer from my heart. I can feel the link. Or your form knows what you need to do, and your form just moves to go do it. Or you know absolutely nothing, and then 3 hours later, when you least expect it, total recognition. Or you get all the way to the moment of decision, still having no clue what to do, but you've checked in with your heart space every single day on the way up to that decision, and when it comes time to make it, you do know. You do know. However it unfolds, the knowing that comes from your heart, when infinity meets infinity, the nature of your infinite consciousness meeting the nature of your infinite portal. Divine meeting divine, a circle is made. A divinity comes to a complete, like the Ouroboros, which I believe is a snake eating its own tail. That's the image that I'm seeing. Wholeness. Like this ring light blaring into my left eyeball. Wholeness. That's what happens. And your best decision cannot be kept from you. Spirit wants to convey that the answers for every decision you ever need to make are here in your heart. You're welcome to use the mind and the form. That is your prerogative, and there is no judgment in Spirit's eyes, ever, as a matter of fact. So go do you if that is working. If you want to try new technology, get into the practice of visiting your heart daily, beautiful soul. Daily. And as you do that, it becomes easier and easier to understand, to play with infinity. You're cultivating infinity. You're getting to know your own infinite nature and see it reflected by the universe. There is a beautiful Sanskrit mantra, Aham Brahmasmi, which means I am the universe. The ultimate realization that Spirit wants to convey is that if you spend enough time here, you realize your divine nature, not just as a mental understanding, a belief, but as an embodied experience. And that is when shit starts to get crazy. But in a great way. In ways that we know we're capable of, but at the same time haven't witnessed at this point in time, space, history, but are about to real soon. So Spirit just wants you, beautiful soul, to be on board when it happens. I hope this was useful information for you today, my sweet, sweet friend. I hope you enjoyed learning about decision making with the mental realm through the form, through the subconscious, and through the heart. And I can't wait to hear the stories about how you make your decisions through the heart center. Please leave me a comment down below. Let me know what happens with you. Tell me your story. If you're moved to like, subscribe, or share this video with someone who might love it, that would make my heart sing with joy. And if you're interested in cultivating a 30-day heart-based practice, there is a link to the Little Reader's World down below. That's Patreon, and we got a whole thing going on there. So if you're like, I want this, it's down there. And until we meet again, beautiful soul, I am sending you all the love I've got. More, and more. Never less. Bye for now.